is 23 minutes till the hour. Am I supposed to read or talk?
We are back now, boys.
Okay. Please welcome now to the Embassy Wayne program from the great state of Arizona, Senator John McCain. Good morning, Senator McCain.
Good morning. Start reading. Stop talking.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm a little tired of these mud wrestling matches that these debates have turned into, and I don't think they're helpful, and I think they're harming the Republican Party.
But the audience are just like American Idol, isn't it? They're just
or Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be, and I've been in two of them, as you know, presidential campaigns where we had a few debates. The candidates spent most of the time talking about their views of the issues and what they would plan to do, and now all it seems is looking for the cheap shot or the insult or the
Wow.
and frankly, it's very harmful to whoever our candidate is, who I believe will be Mitt Romney. But it's harmful, and I'm becoming very concerned about it. They've had 19, I guess. And as you know, there's only 3 presidential debates with the nominees, and there's only 1 for vice president. But we seem to not get enough of these. It's really too bad.
And then these various polls that they're doing among Republicans, a huge percentage of them are not happy with anybody and want someone new.
Well, if people spend an hour, 90 minutes, or 2 hours, whatever, insulting each other, then obviously, it seems they have to, because you're judged whether you won or lost the debate not by how you say that we've got to keep interest rates low or keep people in their homes or that. It's whether you were able to take a shot at your opponent or not that he couldn't respond to. So. All I can say is we ought to put a stop to it. I think we know where the candidates stand. And there's one other aspect of it. It takes 3 days. 1 day to prepare, the day of it, and the day after to rest up. There's a lot more to presidential campaigns than just these debates.
No.
But anyway, it is what it is, but it's not helpful. And I think it's very harmful to our candidate. I still believe that Mitt Romney will beat Barack Obama, but it makes it a lot harder, and all you have to do is look at the polls. The negatives of all these guys have gone up rather significantly, and some of them don't have anything else to do, so might as well stay in the race.
Talking with Senator John McCain, where are you this morning?
I'm back trying to do the Lord's work in the city of Satan.
Okay, 20 minutes till the hour. Have you seen your friend John Kerry?
Yeah, I see him all the time. I see John all the time. In fact, we traveled together a few months ago, and
Did you see him the other day with those 2 black eyes and a broken nose and all that?
Well, I think that John was out playing hockey. That's his favorite sport, and had a little accident there, but I don't think it's going to change him from playing hockey.
Well, that is what happened.
He's a pretty good player.
Yeah, so she didn't whack him with a ketchup bottle or something.
You never know.
Yeah, you don't. No, you don't. So, hey, do you know, Senator McCain, do you know the governor of Arizona? You must know her, right?
Sure, I've known her for many years, yes.
You know, I have this vision of her there sitting at a bar in Jerome, Arizona. Down at the end of the bar, big Pell Mell hanging out of the corner of her mouth. Big double glass of Jack Daniels sitting in front of her. So what was
that's not the Jan Brewer I know.
Oh, okay. But do you think that was kind of odd as the president of the United States getting all in her face over something she wrote about him in her dopey book that nobody read?
Apparently, he had a similar. Bobby Jindal, the governor of Louisiana, had a similar exchange with the president. It's very well known that he has a prickly personality, and I think it's been displayed in both of those cases. And I also think that Jan Brewer is very concerned about the security on our border. This fast and furious. They're selling these guns that ended up in Mexico. One of our Border Patrol agents was killed in Arizona. We still haven't gotten to the bottom of that whole fiasco as well. We still have cartel members on mountains in southern Arizona guiding the drug runners up to Phoenix, where drugs then are distributed around the country. She has a real concern about that, and I think it's a very legitimate concern. Now he came to Chandler, Arizona, went to Intel plant. I wish he would go down the border and see how the situation is there firsthand, which, by the way, has improved, but has a long way to go. And, you know, he has never been to the U.S.-Mexico border except, I think, a trip to El Paso. I know he's never been to the U.S.-Arizona border. You'd think he might want to do that, given the carnage that's going on in Mexico.
Just to see what it looked like, if nothing else.
Yeah, I would hope so, but that hasn't been the case.
It's 17 till they are here in the IMUS Morning program. We're talking with Senator John McCAIN. These cuts in military spending and all that stuff, a bunch of folks on both sides are all upset about that. Don't think it'll work.
I think that some reductions are called for as we leave the Middle East. And by the way, we have left Iraq in a situation of debacle. I was amazed that the president would talk about Iraq last night. It is unraveling, and we could have left a residual force behind and not had this terrible situation that's evolving there. But
well, even I knew this was going to happen, and I don't know anything.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted 20,000 troops left behind. That wasn't the campaign promise he made. He's keeping his campaign promise. Unfortunately, the level of violence continues to escalate, and the whole thing is in danger of unraveling. I hope and pray it doesn't. But we did expend 4,474 brave young Americans' lives in the effort. We won the war, and now, thanks to his politics, we are losing the peace. But most people don't seem to care much, but I care a great deal, and I know that the families of those who sacrificed do too. I think that some of these cuts are justified. I think a lot of them are not. We're already enacting $480 billion worth of cuts, and then we're facing this, quote, sequestration because the super committee failed, as you recall. We can't afford these additional cuts, and some of us are trying to come up with a plan, which I think we will, to eliminate those additional cuts. The Secretary of Defense, Mr. Panetta, has said it would be catastrophic if we enacted those additional cuts. The President says he'll veto a bill that reverses them. What is it, the phone? The cell phones not work between the Pentagon and the White House? I mean, they're both taking opposite positions on this issue, which is,
sometimes
again, politics.
Sometimes even with AT&T, which I love, you can get in those dead spots, where your phone just
That's probably the case.
The line drops out. Must be what it is. So.
That's probably the case, I would think. Yeah. Could I just mention one other thing? I just came back from Burma. Aung San Suu Kyi is, there's a chance for democracy and freedom there. Still, probably the two most impressive people I've ever met in my life are the Dalai Lama and Aung San Suu Kyi, a woman who was kept in house arrest for 15 years. And I just want to say, I know that it's a far-off country, but this is really an example of what one person, this woman, can do to bring about freedom and democracy, and I'm deeply inspired by her.
It's kind of interesting, as you asked me if you could mention something, and I said no, and you went right ahead and did it anyway. So. Of course. I was thinking yesterday about Gabrielle Giffords.
Yes.
And God bless her, and having nothing to do with anything other than I was hoping that she could still stay in Congress and serve and all that. And
yeah, and also, though I don't, like she said several times, she said, I will come back. I also think it's worth noting her husband has been a tremendous support for her. As you know, he's an astronaut, Navy pilot. It's quite an example there of a marriage that is remarkable, and it wouldn't surprise me over time if she continued her recovery and re-entered politics.
Good thing she's not married to Newt Gingrich, because if she were, she'd be on her own. So, all right, man. Thank you, Senator.
Good to be with you, my friend.
Senator John McCAIN here. The IMUS Report time is 13 till the hour.